The only things we have to vote on are what Ashley just talked about here. So we have these two, let's do this one here. These two votes to pass Giveth round 37. And so there are two votes up in the DAO. Let's see here. It'll be at this one. That we'll need to pass. Let's see if it loads up here. Yeah, so here we go. So all of you people here who have NR Give tokens, you can jump in there and vote. I believe this one is going to be sending out the givebacks. And then this one over here you can see is sending out the nice tokens from this last couple weeks. So that's got 23 hours left on it. So please check it out and vote today. And then we can get that done. Apart from that, Give Garden's cool. Snapshot's fine, nothing to sign in the multi-sig, so we're pretty much caught up on voting. And then we could move into this discussion I want to have. Well, maybe we'll do this first, because I think this will be quick. But actually, I wanted to leave some space. No, we'll do it later, it's fine. So this is the GiveFi working group proposal. I put this up last week. And so just following the outcomes of our calls and the format that we decided to go with, I drafted a proposal here. So, high-level goals, team and resources, duration, and then like different iterations of our budget, like we were saying. So, how much we'll spend, and how do we increase the scope of the project if we've got a bigger budget, what's like the sustain, and then if we really want to shrink it to decrease the scope and the cost, then, what does that look like in there? So there's 3 different versions of the budget for the next quarter. After that quarter, we'll review and probably propose a different set of budgets and maybe different deliverables. And after that, like probably today or in the next couple of days, for me, I'm going to move this up to a snapshot vote. And then we can choose, which versions of this budget do we want to go with, or maybe even option not to go with any of them and, not move forward on this working group or this product. So just taking the time to pilot the process that we agreed on and maybe helping people figure out their own process for getting the proposals up. And I'd like to make a space here if anyone has any comments, either about the proposal or the format or anything around that. No. All right. That's fine. Go ahead, Marco.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Where's the link again for that? I couldn't find it.
Yeah, no problem. It's right here.
All right. Thanks. Lazy web. Me. Yeah, I was actually looking at this one. So basically, my only question was that most of the funding goes just to auditing, right? The smart contracts.
If we decide to go big on it, if we want to get a professional audit, then this is what it's probably going to cost. That's just like an estimation. So,
all right.
There's other versions like the sustain and the shrink one where we get kind of like an informal audit, probably a free audit if we can, and then that would eliminate that part of the cost.
All right. All right. I'll look a little bit more later then. No comments for now. Thanks.
Sure.
I have a question.
Yes.
So what's the ideal scenario for you as a leader of the group and why? Can you for those who haven't read the proposal and maybe want to have more personalized advocacy from you, like what would you say is the best and why now? I mean, if we vote for
why
this,
now?
yeah.
I don't understand that. Why now? Because I'm working on it now and I need to get
I mean,
approval.
Yeah, right. So if we like, why would you? It's a big now. Okay, why would we want to vote for this grow version? Because it's like it's pretty big increase of the budget, right? It's a big amount, 50K for audit. So why would that be beneficial to do right now? In case, like, yeah, I want to know like how to decide.
I get it. I get it. Okay, I get it. Yes. So, basically, if we just so everybody understands, like this is the cost. So if we want to get it offer this thing that's going to be safe and secure, then this is what a professional audit costs. And if we think that the product that's going to be delivered is worth spending 50K on a professional audit, then like there's the outline of the costs. If we think that going from give savings and starting research on the next project makes sense for Giveth right now, then like, we can add that to the scope as well. And it'll take a bit of extra time. My own personal opinion is that somewhere between sustain and shrink, I'm looking at what's going on with quadratic funding, and quadratic funding looks like it's going to be launching very soon. So, I don't want these things to collide and kind of like dilute each other by launching kind of around the same time. So my thing would be like building at least something that works, that we feel good with, and then like, do the actual preparation for launching it after quadratic funding has time to like do their own launch, so that things aren't coinciding with each other. And that would include, doing this informal audit. We have some leads on getting a free professional audit, but that's not guaranteed. Maybe we end up having to pay something. Maybe we just get an audit from our friends in the Giveth Galaxy, but like that would be somewhere between, these two lower end budgets that honestly, only have about a 2K difference between them.
This is great. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Great. And just a reminder to everybody that we have these SubDAO support calls that happen 8 a.m. Mexico time on Thursdays. That's the hour before the community call. So there's a few people that I haven't really seen any movement on them. So like from the 6 that we agreed on, I haven't heard from the Give Economy, the fundraising group, or the DAP at all. So if there's a problem, then we should talk about it. If they're blocked, we should talk about it, or anything like that, and figure that out. Because we said when we started this that we would try and have everything done by the 1st of July. So if that's not feasible, then we should talk about it. If there's a problem, we should talk about it. Lauren's typing something, but I'd love to hear her voice.
I thought better of it.
You thought better of it? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Any questions? Like, I'm curious, like, Heather, you just got back from vacation. Yes, I know you've been busy, doing the work, but around like fundraising and partnerships.
I think, I'm still like jumping back into things, but I think what was interesting about this proposal is the audit, and it seems like kind of standard of practice and might even help with fundraising. If our code is audited, that might be a point where we might be more trusted with funds. So is that what you meant, or?
No, I meant like, how is your process going for forming your working group?
I don't know. Not it's not happening right now. I mean, I've been gone for a month, but I definitely plan to jump in.
Mhm.
So I didn't even know that there was a fundraising working group going on right now. So yes, I will be addressing this.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's been up for about 2 months actually.
Thanks for the friendly reminder, Mitch.
We discussed it. Apologies for not following up on that, but yeah, there isn't much happening. But we can add that because we have some other softer points we're discussing, especially this bridging gap between comms and fundraising, so that once the projects that we secure funds are communicated with the comms team and we make sure that there is some development going on, I think we need to create more like a soft topic that we can discuss to professionalize these discussions and the working groups around it. So maybe, I don't know, Heather, we can talk about it later during our call today. Could be an agenda item on the fundraising call.
Yeah, I'm keen. I can add it.
Yeah. Cool. Just putting that discussion in front of you. Okay. Cool. Any other questions on that? Because that's kind of my priority this month. Okay. All right. Let's get into this other one. Here's the thing I wanted to talk about. Changing the way changing the things we talk about during this call. I think this is I want to address a few problems that I think, Corey had mentioned. Alma mentioned it to me. Ashley mentioned it. I'm pretty sure Lauren probably mentioned it at some point as well. It's like maintaining cohesion between working groups. So if working groups have their own autonomy to build their own goals, how are they informing how they're building their goals? And we don't really have a space where at least the people who are planning things are aligning on the mission and the vision and what their goals are based off of. So, I noticed that this call has been getting a little bit stale. You guys are calling it the Mitch Show, and I like thinking how I can change that a little bit and maybe figure out some of our bigger DAO problems instead of just PSAs on the issues of the day. Does that seem like the right place to talk about this? Go ahead, Griff. You're going to say something.
I don't think anyone doesn't like the Mitch Show. It's just I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Okay. Do you guys think that you're getting the right kind of value out of having this call every week? Or are there systemic things that we could be talking about? Go ahead.
Oh, I don't know if Marco wanted to say something. Marco, you're unmuted. Do you want to speak?
Yeah, go first.
I think that the governance calls, I used to come to these calls and have more clarity on things and more stuff to do. Now I kind of do, but they've shifted more to this restructuring of all the working groups and stuff like that. And basically I have just a lot less that I need to do in this call, but I think that that's okay. And I noticed we've been ending early and stuff like that. I also think that we haven't had as much activity in the forum and as many decisions to be making. And that's also okay. It's we're focusing a little bit more on different products and work that gets done on other calls. I do call it the Mitch Show because it's when you tell us what we have to do, but that's good, Mitch tells me what I need to do for governance. And I go to the Mitch Show so that I know what I need to do in order to be a good DAO member, basically. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. I feel like we just have less to talk about DAO governance stuff lately, but it's okay. We can just make the call shorter.
Yeah, I just second that what Lauren said. Basically, I like the Mitch Show because same reasons. I come here, I know exactly what I need to do with the DAO. You remind us of all the important things. and I'm okay ending earlier, or maybe if there's nothing for me, that this week maybe there's for someone else. So okay, I'll do some other stuff in the meantime, and then like if we can use the remaining time for to discuss some other things, that's also fine. We can throw it into the agenda or whatever, or just end early, whatever. But I like the format and I think it's fine, so I don't think we should change that. And then on the other specifics that you mentioned, like changing the call format to discuss other stuff, I think those topics are a little bit broader, and I think they would require a separate call and separate attention and focus, and I don't think we can squeeze that everything into this one, weekly governance call. So yeah, I vote for the Mitch show here. Thanks, Mitch.
I have a comment on that. I've been doing some research and analyzing some of the feedback that I've got from different contributors from Giveth, and there's a lot of feedback saying that there's misalignment and sometimes there's not a good communication between working groups, making some things confusing or overlapping. So I think that it would be great to have a stewards alignment call in a way that everyone that's making decisions can see more clear the work that everybody's doing, to have more clarity in the strategy that's being followed, and to make sure that the overall goals are being pursued. So I think that would be super helpful if there's a call in which this big picture is being followed, and just making sure that everyone is aware of the other stewards' work. I don't know if this is the call for that. I don't know if this would be the space for it, but just gathering the feedback and thinking on this, I think that for sure there's some communications between stewards that are missing, and that maybe we should find a space for that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree a little bit with Ulman there. I don't know that the governance call is really the place for that, but I remember we have had a few stewards calls in the past that were actually really helpful for all of the working group leads to get aligned, and I think it will be helpful, especially going forward after this restructuring or sub-deification stuff, to just so that we can all stay focused on the bigger organizational goals.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the reason we do like the Mitch show is because when we are a little bit slow in the forum, etc., you do bring interesting governance topics like this to the table, and then it makes us think more and have separate calls, and then bring those action items back to the governance. So as long as, Mitch, you're okay continuing to form these type of ideas and bring them to the governance call, then it's the right place.
Mm-hmm.
I completely agree with that. I'm in
your connection's bad, Santi. Looks like your internet's on holiday too.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it looks like. Let me see if I can.
I think it got better. Let's see.
Better now?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think the governance call is the best place to be, to touch base and see what's going on, what you need to focus on in terms of governance. It's a quick 1 hour that reminds us what we have to vote on, if we're missing something, to take a look at the forum that we've missed. And it's probably the starting place for bigger decisions or bigger discussions that take place on other working groups. I think it's great the way it is. If there's a need for other calls or to start other discussions, like Ashley and Norman said, I think that's another call. Whoever is not a steward, it doesn't need to be on those discussions. But still, being here, you get to know absolutely everything that's going on, that it's important in terms of governance, and we should keep it as it is.
Okay.
I also think, I fully agree with what Santi said. And I love that you do a great job, Mitch, at keeping us all up to speed and up to date with the forum and the important decisions, and even encouraging us to go into forum and talk more. I know that we've talked about this a little bit in our sub-DAOification support call, and it's a lot about us like actually being in a school and learning how to DAOify together, right? So I think you actually do a great job at this, and if you feel like you personally would love to have more broader discussions around DAO and governance, why not? You can bring it in. I think that what girls mentioned about having a stewards call, it sounds like a really great, reasonable thing to do, and have it separate. And then the stewards of the groups would hopefully go and inform their groups, and so that we can keep aligned as a whole DAO. And maybe there can be a little like a something update section in the governance call, so that if this is the most important call of the week where everyone wants to come, or even if it's a community call, like a little bit of updates there, where like this like more stewards core team discussions are heading in what direction, so that everyone stays aligned. That sounds great to me. So yeah, those are my 2 cents.
Great. So what I hear is that this format's working for everybody, or for most people, but it seems like there's still something missing, and maybe it's not something that we cover in the governance call. So the governance call is more focused on what we need to vote on, what we need to check out in the forum, sometimes touching on these broader topics like between the whole DAO, so all of us, as contributors and whatnot, and then some PSAs for, reporting your hours or hanging out with your buddies, and that's kind of the scope of the Mitch show. That's kind of what I hear.
Yeah, Mitch. And when we develop our DAO Ops group and we come up with some cool ideas for the whole DAO, then it will become part of this call, I guess. The updates or discussion, broader discussion. No?
Okay. Sure. Okay, so then I want to. I want to bring up the points that Almond and Ashley just brought up here, and maybe make like a plan, because I think what I'm hearing is that, like, especially the way that we're developing chapters around working groups, like people are having a hard time setting up the structure without feeling aligned with like the rest of the stewards. So, I don't think we can pass this problem on to when we're done with the sub-DAO. I think we need to be actively doing it while we're sub-DAOifying, so that everyone's like informed. So I'm curious if there's any ideas of like, do we want to add another call? I'm very resistant to having another call during my week. That's why I wanted to repurpose something that already exists. But I'm open to other ideas, like having a place where we could meet, ideally weekly, maybe bi-weekly, and just like hang out as decision makers in the DAO and get aligned on stuff.
If we have time during this call to discuss all that stuff, I'd love to hear about it, because another call I'm probably going to miss. And like, if we're going to talk about that in this call, it means that I'm probably going to learn more about that. So, if you think it's the way to go, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else? When it gives a thumbs up. Okay. Does anyone think that we should have a separate stewards call?
I honestly think that it should be good to have a separate stewards call because, as people was mentioning at the beginning of your question, is that this is a call specifically to address governance. And I think that the objective of having a stewards alignment is then different from governance. I agree that there's too many calls and it's kind of like a bummer to schedule one more call. But as Ashley and Nicola were saying as well, these calls that happen all over the week are focused on very specific work that needs to be done and in different working groups that, in a way, hearing to some contributors are not communicating enough.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we can dedicate part of comms call, as this will be an improvement in the comms organization. But I will vote for have a separate call towards only for discuss this like high level decision making.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does it have to be weekly? Is it something that we could do monthly? And we just time the first one in a good place because of this subdification thing. So it sounds like Yas and Heather and some of the stewards already still need to figure out some things within their working group. So maybe we set it out like in a week or a week and a half or something, and we do our first like monthly one, and then that gives us some time and we can all work together in the meantime, and then just do one every month. And that way it wouldn't be like another weekly call that we all have to attend.
Well, just from hearing what you were saying, it sounds like this, if it is a weekly call, it could actually cut us out from like going to other calls, like Giveth calls and all of that. So we might just get one call per week instead of like having to go to 3. But I mean, of course, like we can see how things play out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you both. I think since we haven't talked in a while, it'll probably take us a while to chew through the things. And then like probably once we figure everything out, we won't need to have a weekly call. But I think right now there's a lot of misalignment. So I just want to make sure that we have enough space. And then when we see we have nothing left to talk about and everyone feels great, then, like you said, move it to monthly. An interesting idea might be we have the fundraising call after this. That's right. I was going to say we could try and push this call ahead half an hour and give, 45 minutes. Stewards come and chill. We talk, and then we have a governance call for 3/4 of an hour, and then we can go into fundraising. But I realize that actually messes up people's schedule.
What about 30 minutes? I think 30 minutes is usually enough for governance call.
We could try doing this call in half an hour next week and have like a stewards thing for half an hour instead. That's another option.
Also, another option is the Comunitas call is now every 2 weeks. So there's a space for Tuesday at 9 a.m. Costa Rica time. As Comunitas call is now bi-weekly, so maybe that's another option as well. Just throwing ideas. And actually,
9 a.m.
Yeah, and actually that would be helpful, as again, this is something that regards comms. So comms call is scheduling Tuesday at 10. It might be good to have pre-alignment before, but again, just throwing ideas out there.
That's okay. That's tomorrow at 9 a.m. Interesting.
But tomorrow at 9 a.m. we have a workshop around gravity, just FYI.
Yes, and I hope you come.
Okay. So what I think is we need to do something so that at least there's like a steward's alignment, steward's call that's like regular, because we kind of been having them sporadically. Okay. I'll take some more ideas. Go ahead.
Of the governance call, because you said, like you said, we haven't had a lot to talk about in this call recently, so it would be. We can just use that time and do the 30 minutes before, and then have 30 minutes of governance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's try that out for now. And we'll see how it goes. And maybe I'll bring a format that we can try out next week for that. Anyone else have any strong opinions?
Just one question. Well, maybe this needs to be figured out, but if half an hour of governance call is just going to be used for this purpose, that means that stewards should be early, like at 9 p.m. and then everyone else join 9:30, or it would be better to have everyone here at the whole hour, or again, maybe these are details that need to be figured out, but just a thought if what would be the best way to organize or coordinate the team.
I think if we want to have a focused discussion, it's better to have it with less people. Obviously, people can join if they want, but I would encourage that we have just like a smaller focus group to get through the things, because we only have half an hour, and then everyone jumps in at the half to have the normal governance. Yeah. Okay. So we'll go with that, or does someone else have a different idea? Okay. Great. Thumbs up. I see 100s. Marco looks pleased. We're good. Okay, last thing here. Some PSAs. I think somebody wants to talk about Clockify. Nico, Michelle. Yeah.
That's me. So we are moving out from Coda, and then you could add your time in Clockify, basically the same as Coda, where you could add bulk hours for May. So yes, kindly add your hours there. And the main purpose for this is to see where people are spending their hours, and also to make sure that if we have any non-Giveth hours, meaning general magic projects, that needs to be accounted so that we could compute accurately how much GM or GM or Giveth owes to each other, or so please add your time reports in Clockify and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. I know I'm going to be trying to figure out what the heck Clockify. How to get my hours in there. Cool. And then the other thing is buddy reviews, forever and always. Don't forget, I think there's a few people. I think Ahmad and Moshe Hab this week will have their buddy calls. Oh, go ahead, Nico. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, that's right, Mitch. Only Ahmad and Moshe Hab are having their buddy calls this week. So, yeah, let's leave some reviews for them. But yeah, we've already gathered some. So if you guys want to leave some reviews, then go ahead.
Cool. Great. And don't forget, anytime you want, you can fill out contributor feedback. So there's the link to the form there. You guys know the drill. You can give some feedback to any of your fellow Giveth contributors at any point in time. If you have a problem, you can also signal it with providing some escalated feedback. There's also a self-review form to give yourself a review and to review Giveth as an organization. And in DAOps, we are working, one of our big goals for our next quarter is going to be improving the system, so making it easier for people to engage and setting some standards so that, people don't show up to their buddy calls empty-handed. So yeah, just to let you guys know, we're working on making this a bit better. Cool. Well, we got to the bottom, I think. We got 15 minutes left. Is there anything else we need to talk about? No? Okay. Cool. Oh, someone's typing. Jake's typing. Okay, never mind. We're good to go. Thanks, everyone, for coming to the governance call. And we'll be doing this maybe 9 a.m., maybe 9:30. We'll see. Probably 9:30. But thank you for coming, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mitch. Thanks for a lovely Mitch
Thank you.
show.
Thanks for the show. Bye.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for the show. Bye, guys.